what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1996 Toyota Tercel. Up front is a 1.5 liter inline 4 and down below is a 4-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Toyota Tercel for two reasons. First of all, I recently did an earlier 90s Tercel and you guys loved it, so I'm here to deliver the next generation. But the second reason is the fact that this car is a little worse for wear. It's seen a thing or two, and that will tie into my final thoughts. I enjoy driving survivor cars that have a story behind them, and this is most certainly one of them. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 1.5 liter inline 4. Well, the block itself is carried over from the previous generation of Tercel, but if you went and watched that video, you would remember that that was a pretty unreliable engine. Well, this was updated from the 4C to the 5C engine, which basically changed from a distributor cap to coils, and that helped out with the reliability a ton. And so this is actually one of the most reliable Toyotas you could buy from the 90s. What's really going to happen to these cars is the body's going to rust out from underneath, but mechanically they're very, very solid. Now, like I said, paired to it is a manual transmission. You can find them in automatic as well, but this is the manual. It's a 4-speed, which is quite low for the 1990s. In the 1980s, sure, 4-speed manuals existed really in the 70s, but by the mid-80s, most cars, if they were manual, were at least 5-speed, but Toyota stuck with their 4-speed until they really couldn't anymore, and that's what we have here today. Last but not least, of course, the Tercel is front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive a 1996 Tercel? Well, the shifter's amazing, feels exactly how I want it to drive, and that's characteristic of any Toyota from this era, whether that be the Toyota pickup, whether that be the Camry, Corolla, anything with a manual transmission in this era from Toyota feels amazing. Power isn't really there. It's still making sub-triple digits, but if you want power, you don't really buy a Tercel. And visibility is good because it has really thin A-pillars, and so it's very easy to see out of. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 3 gauges. Off to the left is my fuel, in the center is my speedometer, and off to the right is my coolant temperature. That's all you need. On the steering wheel, again, nothing. No cruise control, anything like that. Off to the left, we do have a climate vent and a little cubby along with the gauge dimmer switch. And moving on to the door, we have the latch to get in and out and the crank for the window. Moving into the center, we do get a little digital clock. This was a cornerstone that Toyota always made sure that their vehicles in the 90s, no matter how basic they might have been, they always got digital clocks, and I like that addition. But down below that, we have 2 climate vents and the hazard switch and the climate controls themselves. AC, this is a factory AC car, and it is still working today, which I am over the moon about because it's rather toasty here today. But the AC works, so I can actually use it. Then we have the standard Toyota radio. Love seeing this. It does have a cassette tape, volume, AM, FM, pretty simple there. But like I said, enjoyable. And we have a couple of cassettes we could work through here today. Then we have an ashtray, cigarette lighter. Below the ashtray is the slide out cup holder. So we'll do a big freaking bottle test, but it fails, so I gotta throw this thing. Cubby space and the shifter. Obviously, this is not the stock shift knob. However, I do like it for that 4-speed. And then we have the parking brake. And that's pretty much it for the interior. Then we do have some cubby space behind the parking brake and the seats. Now, the seats are obviously covered in seat covers. However, they are comfortable. Most automakers in the 90s knew how to do really, really comfortable seats. And even though the Tercel was the bottom of the barrel, it still has comfortable seats. I'm enjoying them quite a bit. My back isn't hurting, and that's a great thing to experience. However, speaking of seats, unfortunately, we do have back seats, so I'm gonna jam myself back there. Oh boy. All right, we're in. It's a good start. Honestly, the seat space, if I sit up normally, headroom isn't terrible. It's not good, but it's not awful. Knee room isn't going to be good when the seat is up, but the driver and passenger could be nicer and scoot up. Everyone always yells at me for getting in on the driver's side. It's just force of habit, but if you sit on the passenger side, the passenger can move up a little bit, give you a little bit of space. I would recommend no more than 3 people in here. If you do 4, you can make it work, but someone's going to be pretty pissed. So just ready yourself for that one of your friends might not be your friend afterwards. Is what it is. We'll talk more about friends later, but now let's talk about the trunk. All right, around the back of the Toyota Tercel from 1996, one single key works in everything. Pull it up, and there you go. Decent amount of trunk space, nothing really too crazy to see back here, but you do get a pretty good sized trunk for a little tiny economy car. You got to remember that, but if you did want bigger space, of course they offered the Corolla and the Camry, which had really spectacular trunk space, and of course the Avalon, but I don't think that was really priced in the same bracket as the Tercel. But there's the trunk space of a 96 Tercel, in case you were curious. Now we got to talk about the looks, and okay, we'll talk about the condition of the vehicle here in a second, but I actually don't mind the look of the Tercel. It is updated over the previous gen, and that's a little bit noticeable, but honestly, to the naked eye, it's not going to be very noticeable. It's fine. I think it's very reserved, which I've always liked Toyota's styling. I don't really like when Toyotas get all angry and angular and pissed off. I like it. You know, it's a soft, cute little coupe. That's what the Tercel was, and that's what the Tercel looks like. So it mimics that very well. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts and talk about that exterior. Well, this car was recently purchased by a friend of mine because the previous owner wrecked it while under the influence. Put it through a fence, up against a guardrail, banged it here, banged it there. This car has been through the ringer. And first of all, I want to state that there is no place in this world for driving under the influence. If you drive under the influence, you're no friend of mine, and you deserve whatever's coming for you. But putting that aside, I have very strong feelings about that. We lost a family friend that way when I was very young. Putting that stuff aside, I want to talk about the glory of the Tercel, because it's been crashed several times, and yet it still moves forward. It still works. It still operates as it was supposed to do. This car has taken an absolute beating from the world, and yet here it is, plucking away in this little YouTube video. And so you might be saying, Zach, why would you review a car like that? Where what you should be saying is, I can't believe that thing's still running. Good for you, little Tercel. And that's the truth. You know, I've thought a lot in my life about my friends and family, and there's people that I wish I was closer friends with. There's people I wish that would leave me alone. And I feel like I've never truly had a best friend. Maybe here, maybe for a period. But in honesty, and the truth of what I've learned, is that the best friend you'll ever have is the one that's there for you. The one that'll listen to you. When all... Please help me. Be my best friend and find third gear. Thank you. Jesus. When the doo-doo has hit the fan, it's the person that will sit with you, oftentimes in silence, not the friend that tries to talk you through it and go, hey, it wasn't your fault. Because you know what? It might have been your fault. It might have been your fault. I don't need a friend to sit here and lie to me and be like, oh, you know, that's just the way the world works. I just need someone that sits there with me and lets me know that I'm not alone in the world. And that's what the Tercel does. The Tercel starts every morning. It gets the owner, Andrew, to work every day. It's there. It's present. The best father or parent you can have is a present one. And that's what the Tercel does. The Tercel is at every band recital. The Tercel shows up at football practice, not just the big championship game. The Tercel shows up every single time, and that has an impact. That will make or break a child, so the Tercel delivers. It might not be pretty. It might not be luxurious. It might not be the top of your list. But I would drive this car every day of the year if the alternative was an unreliable car. This car delivers on its promises, and that's what makes the Tercel so good. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Andrew for letting me take out his Tercel. He also had the earlier Tercel that I reviewed as well. Andrew's wonderful, wonderful friend, great asset to the channel, very, very helpful, and I appreciate him very, very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for being here today. Take care, guys.